The world's most remote places are some of the most fragile. Antarctica, the Arctic, the Galápagos, places filled with extraordinary wildlife, dramatic landscapes, and ecosystems that can be permanently changed if tourism is handled poorly. So how do expedition cruises allow travelers to experience these places responsibly? And how can travel actually help people better understand and protect the environment they visit? That's what expedition travel is really all about. I'm Sherry Chesley with Adventure Travel and Cruising, and today we're exploring the hidden side of expedition cruising that most travelers never see. People have always been fascinated by the last wild place on Earth. There's something deeply emotional about standing somewhere that feels untouched, remote, and difficult to reach. Maybe it's seeing penguins in Antarctica, or polar bears in the Arctic, or snorkeling beside wildlife in the Galápagos. These places remind us how vast and extraordinary the planet really is. And for many travelers, expedition cruising becomes much more than a vacation. It becomes a way to feel connected to the world in a completely different way. But these destinations are also incredibly fragile. Remote regions often have delicate ecosystems, limited infrastructure, and wildlife habitats that can be disrupted so easily. Extreme weather and changing conditions also make access more complicated. And that raises an important question. How do travelers experience places like Antarctica or the Galápagos without damaging the very environments they came to see? That's where expedition travel works very differently from traditional tourism. Expedition cruising is designed around immersive exploration rather than mass tourism. These ships are typically much smaller, carry fewer guests, and are built specifically for accessing remote environments responsibly. Instead of giant ports and crowded attractions, expedition travel focuses on Zodiac landings, wildlife encounters, expert guides, flexible itineraries, and deeper destination immersion. Smaller ships allow travelers to reach places larger vessels simply can't access. That means remote coastlines, isolated communities, narrow fjords, or wildlife-rich environments with carefully managed visitor limits. And because expedition cruises carry fewer passengers, the experience often feels far more personal. You're not simply looking at a destination from a distance. You're actively experiencing it. A typical expedition day may include wildlife sightings, shore landings, photography opportunities, educational talks, and spontaneous changes to the itinerary based on weather or animal activity. The flexibility is one of the things travelers often love most about expedition travel. One thing many of my travelers don't realize is how closely expedition travel and science often work together. Many expedition operators support scientific research, conservation initiatives, environmental monitoring, and educational programs. Guests may learn directly from scientists, naturalists, historians, marine biologists, photographers, and expedition leaders throughout the entire journey. Some voyages even include citizen science projects, wildlife observation programs, or conservation partnerships that you can partner with. As for many travelers, this becomes one of the most meaningful parts of the experience, because expedition travel isn't just about seeing extraordinary places, it's really about understanding them, and often returning home with a much deeper appreciation for the importance of protecting them. Expedition cruising opens access to some of the most extraordinary destinations on Earth. Antarctica offers massive icebergs, penguin colonies, whale sightings, and landscapes that feel almost unreal. The Arctic brings polar bears, glaciers, remote communities, and some of the most rugged environments in the world. The Galápagos creates an entirely different experience, one centered around biodiversity, wildlife interaction, volcanic landscapes, and carefully managed tourism. And beyond the polar regions, expedition travel also reaches places like Greenland, Alaska, the Amazon, Iceland, and remote islands throughout the South Pacific. But what makes these journeys memorable is not simply the destination, it's the feeling of experiencing these places in a much more immersive and intentional way. One of the most interesting things about expedition travel is how often travelers describe it as transformational. People come home talking about wildlife encounters, incredible landscapes, and unforgettable moments. They also talk about perspective, about feeling more connected to nature, about understanding remote environments differently, and about realizing how fragile some of these ecosystems truly are. At the best, expedition travel creates not only extraordinary memories, but also deeper awareness. And that's one reason responsible exploration matters so much. The best expedition experiences don't just show you the world, they change the way you experience it. And one of the most important things travelers can understand is not all expedition cruises are the same. Some are rugged, some more luxurious, some focus heavily on wildlife, science, photography, or cultural immersion. The right expedition experience really depends on your travel personality and the kind of journey you want to have. I'm Sherry Chesley with Adventure Travel and Cruising, and I help match you to the expedition cruise line that best fits your travel personality. If you'd like help understanding the difference between expedition cruise lines or the destinations, you can find additional resources in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more expedition cruise insights, destination guides, and travel comparisons.